The assignment given to us was to discuss the relationship between African Americans and gender and/or sexuality. The first article I read was published in November of 1999 by Michelle Mitchell. Silence is Broken, Silence is Kept, Gender and Sexuality in African American History. It began with the explanation of how African American women go unheard a lot of the time, and the contradictory experience they go through as women of color versus the American experience. The article then talks about how gender and sexuality became one topic that formed new silences. Certain topics surrounding gender and sexuality were either dismissed or avoided to not add fuel to the fire of stereotypes. Another point deeper into the article was how the first gender analysis was focused on African American men, as Jim Cullen was able to convince the people that the Civil War altered the conventions of gender to mirror whites. The second article I read was African Adolescents' Intentions to Have Sex, the Influences of Youth Assets and Knowledge of HIV-Related Sexual Risky Behaviors, by Shira Jennings et al. The study began prefixing that it is composed of 252 African American high school students who also took part of their school's teen pregnancy prevention program. It is stated that African American students reported the highest rates of having sex at 45.8% with 4 or more partners. It is said sexual intercourse is interlaced with negative health outcomes, with African American students the most affected. They are affected with STDs that include HIV and teen pregnancy. The study reports that 55% of all teens will have sex by the age of 18, and the mean age around 16.3, with 53% of students that were asked confirming that they participated in sexual intercourse. An interesting fact taken from the study was that females reported caring more about doing well in school and sharing with a guardian about their experience. Prevention strategies included having a better understanding of the influence of sexual intentions and interventions specific to risky sexual behaviors. For the first article, I did know about the large disparity that African American women deal with on a daily basis. Living in Long Beach, it was never super present, as we had every type of person everywhere. But as I grew older and traveled or read more about the surrounding world, I see how it really is. These women have to work twice as hard to get a fraction of the credit. Also, if they complain or try to make a difference, they are dismissed and ignored. Growing up in Long Beach helped me become who I am, but I would have ended up completely different if I lived anywhere else. I came from a family who was racist towards African Americans, and I never put any weight into their words until high school, and I knew what they were saying was wrong, and I made my mission to fix their prejudices, and I continue to do so to this day. This article is important as it puts African American women's lives at the forefront to see what they're going through on a daily basis. Another thing I learned was how... For my second article, I found it very interesting as I learned a lot. It was very statistics heavy, as it was a study discussing the correlation between knowledge of HIV and the decision to still engage in sexual activity. It was interesting how it was reported that female students tend to focus more highly in schoolwork than their male peers, and student females were most likely to share what happened to adults, which suggests that open conversation policy with parents is effective. As adults should take this data into consideration as we grow and raise our own children, so we have a greater understanding to navigate educating our children and having an open mind to their decisions. To the opposition of many sex ed, sex ed is a vital education and should be taught sooner rather than later, as we don't know when certain adolescents will have sex. So the sooner they know, the most likely they would be safe.